Are you having a hard time bringing in your manifestations quickly, effortlessly, and just wondering why it's difficult to bring the things into your existence now? And maybe you're just wondering what things that I could do to make this happen because I really want it that bad, or I just really want this thing to happen in my existence. Just by understanding the things that I share, but also what I share with you here today, will make you a better master at your reality because you're more aware of this that I'm going to share with you today. But before we get into that, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the universe. I hope you're really doing well wherever you're at. I really appreciate you being here. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can always feel free to put that in the comments. I always tend to answer things as long as it's in the context of what we're talking about here. What I am talking about is how we are perceiving our reality. But before we can even perceive the reality to get the manifestation, statistics show that our attention span today is less than 8 seconds right now. And that is really bad because in order to manifest, we have to put focus and attention to something. And I'm not necessarily saying that you're not doing it, but there are many people, because this is a big, widespread statistic. And the more distractions we have in our life, the more distractions we are focused towards our goals and our reality. So if we were to avoid the distractions and become more focused, meaning what I'm going to share with you today is that we have to become a master observing our reality, become a master at the observer itself. And what does that mean? If you don't understand what the observer means, this goes back into quantum mechanics, quantum physics, that without the observer is the one that collapses the wave particles into what's called physical reality. And when they were in the double slit theory, that when they were shooting electrons, that no matter if they shot them one by one, they would create this pattern through the double slit, which is when you have waves interfering with one another, that the top of the wave and the bottom of the wave, when they interact, they create an interference pattern, meaning there'd be lines that go across 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And what the thing was is that when they were shooting the electrons through the slit, it still created a wave pattern. So they were confused and baffled of why it was doing a wave pattern, even though it was just shooting electrons through these double slits. But in the end, is that what they discovered is that when they put the observer onto this interference pattern through the electrons, is that it behaved back as material objects, because at the beginning of their test they were shooting these particles, they were shooting matter, actually marbles, and it would just create double lines. If you're going to go through 2 slits, it's going to create 2 lines, right? But the thing was is that with the electrons, it was creating an interference pattern, meaning multiple lines, not just 2. So when they had the observer to show through the lens, it actually collapsed reality and went back to creating matter, back to the 2 lines of the material when they were shooting marbles. And basically what that means is that we are collapsing reality when we look at something. So when we are observing our reality, and this can be really mind-blowing for some people, that reality without the observer doesn't even exist. But what the crazy thing is that the potential, the unlimited potential of what we are not perceiving in our reality here and around us, it is the things that we don't see. And like Neville Goddard and many other great teachers of the past would talk about, that in order to manifest, it has to be from the unseen to the seen, right? The invisible to the visible. And in quantum mechanics and quantum physics, this is actually shown that the potentiality of all potentials exists now in this moment. Like the things when I'm going like this, is everything behind me that I cannot see is infinite, right? If we put an object behind us, or you put an object and I can't see it at the moment, it can be in infinite places. However, when I turn to observe the reality, then it behaves differently because it knows it's being observed. So what happens is those waves collapse into physical reality, and then those waves of matter become into one position. Instead of superposition, it becomes one. But we can also go deeper than that, because with quantum entanglement, it proves no matter if you put two particles at too far distances across the universe, that one, it's still one particle, because when you were to change the color of this one particle, for example, just an example, that the other one would happen immediately. So what that would mean is that it doesn't matter how far across the world or across the universe, that it is all entangled, meaning that from the very beginning of the Big Bang is that everything was one. Nothing is separate, and that's what quantum entanglement means. So when, for example, you're thinking of like, how come does my SP actually hear my thoughts, my specific person, or can people hear these? And the answer would be yes, because why? Everything is quantum entangled. Everything is entangled with it, meaning it goes from the very beginning that all things are one. Nothing is separate. And we keep thinking that us and reality and the 3D physical world is separate from you. So when we become better observers of our reality, that when we are watching the things around us, it is all about the decisions that we are making in our physical world. It is our decisions, how we are reacting through our emotions, our feelings, how is our energetic field, and how we are putting our energy back into this field. And it is adapting by understanding our awareness of that, and based upon how we act with reality and how we react to it, responds back. And if we're always in the same rut, or always in the same situations over and over, in the same emotional habits and emotional feelings, then we're creating this endless loop of not physically getting out of this energetic field, out of this environment, out of this thing that always happens over and over and over in our lives. And it's because the way we are perceiving our reality and what our identity is within this reality. But in order for us to shift into a different quantum potential, or a different potential in our physical reality, is that we have to become someone new. We have to let the old identity go. And when we talk about Neville Goddard and the law of assumption, is that he talks about this identity, this self-concept, that in order for us to become someone different, or to become the person that we're supposed to be in this reality, we have to let go of that. You know, it's in order to change, we have to figure out this, right? So it is the same when we are trying to master ourselves as being the observer in our world, is that how are we acting in this world that is in alignment with the thing that we are desiring, or the type of person we are wanting to be, or the thing that we are wanting to attract. Now, we are not thinking of the desire, but we're thinking from the desire, meaning we are thinking from first perspective, meaning that you're not a fan out in the audience looking at yourself. You are the person behind it. You are the one that everyone is looking to. You know, you think from that perspective in first person, not seeing your manifestation outside of you. Right? So when we are shifting our being and how we are acting, how we are feeling, and our emotions, and what are our limiting beliefs, and what type of person is this person that's successful or whatever, what type of beliefs does this person have that this other person doesn't? You know, does this person believe in luck? Does this person believe in chance? You know, does he believe in like different things? And the other person says, oh, that doesn't happen in my reality. You know, I have to see it to believe it, kind of thing. And in the quantum every potential. And this is why I think the most important thing that we can take from this is that every moment actually exists now. There's a version of me that is having a different colored t-shirt. There's a different version of me that isn't making videos but instead watching videos. There can be a reality of you doing the same thing. There can be, parallel realities of all the choices that I've made or decide not to, and decide to go about my life and enjoy it instead of being here to share my experience. But every existence of you is not the future or the past, because everything exists now, because the subconscious doesn't know the difference if something is vividly being imagined within their own mind or that it's happening now. So if we're in some type of emotional distress or some kind of feeling of being down or nothing's working out, the longer we are entertaining those ideas and those thoughts, then those are being expressed into your reality, because whatever our attention and awareness is to, and if our attention is towards those thoughts. Before we get into more of it, if you love my content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And if there's anything you like to know about manifestation or like to share your story, don't hesitate and put that down in the comments. Then that is being expressed into our reality. So it's like being aware of the things that are coming through us, but observing reality and letting things flow and being one with it, knowing that whatever I'm observing in my reality, I know that things are working around the clock for it to happen in my reality, because every thought that you entertain long enough will manifest. Now, we don't know if it's going to manifest good or bad. It's depending on what you are believing within yourself, internally, deep within. And it's these beliefs that we have to overcome and let go and free those energies and freeing those things that are beyond us. And one way that you can do this to release a lot of that negative energy, a lot of that negative tension and emotion, is through breath work. And breath work is another thing that you can probably look up and do. But that is a way to release a lot of that energy within you. But a lot of this stuff that I talk about, really, it's the more and more I go about my reality and the more I start manifesting a lot more things in my life, it's because I'm starting to understand how this thing works. I'm not saying I know everything, but every day I'm still learning as much as everyone else is in this world. And I'm just trying to get as much out as I can to help you guys figure that out quicker. Because if I knew this stuff when someone handed me What the Bleep in about I can't remember, 2005, 6, I don't know, somewhere around that time, I was playing poker. And I played it a lot. And I'm not saying I'm a gambler, because I don't like playing anything else. But I would sit at the tables at Rio, and I played for a living for a little while. And the thing was, is every time this dealer would see me, I would literally have all the stacks of chips. Like, I was playing no limit, but he would see me all the time. And eventually he handed me this DVD on quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and how we are perceiving reality. And I didn't understand this stuff. Like, I watched it and I'm like, okay, but if I really understood it, because I played the World Series of Poker, I've made it in the top 5%, I've done it, and I played many other tournaments during that time period, WSOPs, and I came close, but never all the way to the final table. I made final tables in many other events, but if I knew that if I were in this awareness of, I knew I would have the best hands, or I know that this person will fold on me because I know how to play at a higher frequency, meaning that randomness doesn't exist in this physical world, that you could be like this one person, you can watch WSOP on this guy, Jamie Gold, or the Moneymaker. These are back in the old days when, poker was a big thing. But literally one after another, win after win, like I could have done it with that, but I didn't understand it. And he gave me that DVD a long time ago. And so what I'm saying is that it took me a long time to finally figure it all out. And if I knew this during a lot of the harder times of my life, then maybe I would have been at a different part of reality or a different part of life. But just to let you know that knowing this stuff early and actually taking action and implementing things and becoming aware of your reality and looking within yourself, that anything in this world is possible. You have this within you, this power. Become the master observer of your reality, and everything in it will shift to your fulfillment of all your desires. If you still want to know on how to master your reality and level up your manifestation, then check out this video here to take you to another level.